Hey everybody, don't you all enjoy a good urban legend? I know I do. Stick around, let's talk about one. Hello everybody, and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel, where hot rodding and romance do coexist. I'm your host, Prince Magnum, and how about a special episode of Looking Into Our Past? When we do Looking Into Our Past, one of the things that I enjoy doing is taking all of you back in time to different time periods or looking at different things. And granted, this is not a super popular series on my channel, it still has good content. With that being said, the urban legend that we're going to talk about today has been around since the 1990s. The urban legend of the video game cabinet known as Polybius. Now, this has already been beat to death on YouTube. And one in particular, the channel Ahoy, I think I got that right, really broke it down and debunked the existence of the video game cabinet Polybius. Another one that gave great detail was Creepy Gaming, hosted by Mullet Mike. Did a fantastic job of really breaking down the existence of Polybius. However, in all of that, Mullet Mike asked the question, did we have the technology to do what the legend says back in 1981? Well, using my very own Wayback Machine, the one that we have basically kind of built here on the Prince Magnum channel, we're going to do just that. We're going to take a look at if the capabilities were there. I already know the answer, but in a moment, we're going to get a deeper look at the urban legend known as Polybius.
Okay, folks, welcome to the year 1981. The reason we stopped here is because this is the time that Polybius supposedly came out. From this screenshot, that's the copyright year, 1981. And it supposedly showed up in Portland, Oregon, near where my wife lived for many years. She grew up around those parts. Because of this is the reason why it intrigued me. We also know that there's a gentleman by the name of Stephen Roach who claims to have been part of the programming team. Stephen Roach lived in the Czech Republic, and him and a friend developed the game between the years of 1978 to 1980 for a South American company. Well, Stephen Roach, well, there's already holes in his story. There is no Czech Republic at this time. It's Czechoslovakia. And his parents had moved him there in the 1960s to do computer programming. Well, nobody in their right mind is going to move from a free country to a communist country because they came from England. We know this is wrong because even at this time, right now, Florida has experienced a large influx of Cuban refugees. Basically, we see people trying to escape communism, coming to a free country. That's why we have the movie Scarface. that even though it's a fictional movie and my favorite gangster movie of all time, thank you very much, Al Pacino, but that's why they mentioned that at the beginning of the movie, because that actually did happen. Let's go a step further, folks. It is 1981, and one of my favorite YouTubers, Mullet Mike, the host of Creepy Gaming, asked the question, is it possible? Could we have had the technology to do what was described in Polybius, even though we know that that game does not exist? And the answer is yes. That's the real reason why we came back to 1981. At this point in time, one of my favorite movies from Disney is getting ready to hit theaters, if it hasn't already. The movie Tron. Using backlit animation that was very ahead of its time for the movie, they also brought in computer companies to help with CGI effects. Of course, at this time, we weren't calling it CGI effects. It was just computer imaging. Let's take a look at some of those companies. The companies in question are none other than Triple I, Magi, and Digital Effects Inc. Let's start with Digital Effects Inc. They were the ones that made the bit, the one that keeps saying yes or no, and that's the best it can do, and when it answers it changes shape and color. And the opening creation of Tron, whenever the movie starts. That's all from Digital Effects Inc. Then the company Triple I got their start in the mid-1970s. They made the Sark Carrier, the Solar Sailor, and the MCP. Not half bad for 1981. And then the company that really blows my mind, the company Magi, who originally was doing programs in 1966 for the U.S. government. Basically, they were making computer-simulated models to track radiation. By 1972, they had already developed their very first cartoon using computer imaging, or CGI effects, called Cinevision. That was in 1972. Pretty good job, guys. And then by 1981, they were doing Tron. So we had the technology to go a step further than what we thought about it here in 1981 with just simple vector graphics. We could go a step further. Those really awesome video game cabinets like Tempest and Pac-Man, and my personal favorite from the 1980s, Pole Position, it would be pretty easy to slip an extra board somewhere where nobody was thinking of. One that kind of ran the subliminal messages. So, it's possible. Of course, getting the information from those video game cabinets, did that exist too? Well, shoot, we already have internet in 1981. It's just not what we would think about today. Now, I already hear some of you out there saying, Prince Magnum, the internet didn't come on until 1993. Wrong. In 1974, the U.S. military had in their possession Telnet. Take a look at the copyright sometime. Take a look at Telnet. If you'd like to see a movie use Telnet, take a look at War Games or the movie Weird Science. I promise you, you'll see it. It's there. Whenever they're using it in Weird Science, they take the phone off the receiver and hook it up to this little thing that looks kind of like a receiver, but it's hooked up to the computer and increases the computer's capabilities. That's early internet. That's Telnet. That was a modem. That was what it was back then. So already, we have a great deal of technology. Of course, much of our computer technology at this time is pretty doggone crude. We don't even have the use of a mouse. That's years down the road yet. At this time, computers used a specific language. On top of that, computers could fill entire rooms. We're just starting to hear about the Apple computer. To give you an idea, in a few more years, I'm going to be in kindergarten. And I'm going to get to play on a Tandy computer. The Tandy killed itself because it didn't make itself IBM compatible, terms that we don't think about today. So, we have the technology. But let's take a moment and look at a few other things. Would the CIA be interested in experimenting on America's youth? And the answer to that is yes. The information about MK Ultra is starting to leak to the public now. On top of that, we already know about the existence of Operation Mockingbird. All CIA programs. If you're interested in taking a look at those, you're more than welcome to. But the shortened version of it is Operation Mockingbird was the CIA basically paying people in the media to put out the stories that they want. And MK Ultra was the study of psychic capability and mind control. As a matter of fact, there was one instance where the psychic end of it all, of MK Ultra, did predict something, the Cuban Missile Crisis, but that was all the way back in the 1960s, far beyond the capabilities of my own Wayback Machine here on the Prince Magnum channel. Maybe sometime we'll increase that drive and maybe take a trip back that far. But for right now, 1981 is about the limit of it all. And that's all here in 1981. Computer imaging or early CGI effects, Telnet, an early form of the internet, and the greatest games that have ever hit our culture, video game cabinets. The CIA could have easily done this with a game like what they're describing Polybius to be in the Portland, Oregon area, because at that time the FBI was scoping out illegal gambling rings up there, and they were busting them. They could easily have done it, even though the CIA's first mission statement is that they're not allowed to operate inside the U.S. They're only meant to collect information overseas. So, there you have it. Gosh, all that information, all that technology, all these capabilities that led up to much of the stuff that we have today, it would be nice to go ahead and go look at an old video game cabinet, maybe even play Pac-Man. But we haven't got time for that. We need to get back to the year 2017, which is when this video will be going up. So, let's go ahead and turn up the Wayback Machine, and let's go home. I'll see all of you back in the office.
Welcome back. I hope all of you enjoyed that. I want to take a moment and thank the YouTube channel Creepy Gaming, hosted by Mullet Mike. I want to thank him for the inspiration for this video. There was really no reason to do this video until I listened to him ask that question, did the technology exist? I also want to take time out, and I want to thank, again, I want to thank Creepy Gaming. I want to thank the YouTube channel Ahoy, and I want to thank Disney for all of the information that was used in this video, okay? This stuff did not just magically come out of the air. 1981, I was a year old. Not a joke, folks. Not a joke. Unless it was around August, then I would have been 2. You know, so it's not like I had this information just falling out my hind end. Basically, it was some of the information on the making of Tron that came from their 20th anniversary special edition DVD. If you'd like to take a look at that for yourself, just pick yourself up a copy if you can find one, because that came out quite a while back. If you've never checked out Creepy Gaming, please do so. Mullet Mike is always doing something fantastic and could really use some support right now. I want to, again, if you've never checked out Ahoy, even though I'm not subscribed to him, he does have some pretty interesting stuff to talk about on his channel. That brings us to the usual spot. As always, if you have any positive feedback, be sure to leave it in the comments box below. If you're not subscribed to the Prince Magnum channel, please do so at this time. As usual, get out there and work on a project. Don't care what it is, just do something with yourself. If you have a sweetheart, sweep them off their feet, do something special for them. And as always, for every last one of you out there, if no one out there has told you that they love you today, Prince Magnum does. God bless you, and have a happy 24. Thank you.
Man. Wow, man, freaked out.